Hey Squids! Today we're going to talk about the future and direction that Splatoon is headed in. Time and time again I've heard either that Splatoon is dying, it is dead, or that it will never be esports. But I would like to mention another game that heard these mantras, which is now a very, very popular game that has gone to esports. So let's take a look at why that is. Super Smash Bros. Melee was released back in 2001, yet 15 years later, it is still in the spotlight with the most hyped tournaments we can get. But what many may not know, or have forgotten, is that Melee was dead. Yes, this beloved game was once what people like to consider dead. It had very small attendances at local tournaments, and nearly no nationals for about 2 years. And although the revival of Melee can be arguably attributed to the Smash Bros. Documentary, or the revival of Melee tournament series, one thing above all stands out: the community. The Smash Bros. Community did not let Melee die, and what was once grassroots is now esports. Splatoon is a grassroots game in the present time, and what it needs most is a dedicated player base that is reluctant to let it go away. Going around saying that it's a dead game is detrimental to growing it. Luckily, we have some dedicated community leaders paving the way for the game's success. KT follows most teams, and his Twitter account shows us tweets upon tweets updating us on tournaments or general Splatoon news. Static has started a Splatoon Central Discord server, a hub for Splatoon players to find scrims, to listen to community chats, or to have a place to hang out with fellow squids. Endgame TV has provided us with some hype Inkstorm tournaments, bringing in Japanese teams to open our eyes at the skill level that this game could be played at. And with the Endgame Invitational League, more hype is on the way. They have released a direct with additional information on the league, and have also disclosed details on projects coming up, such as the Ink Cage, a tournament disallowing teams from the top 8 already in the league. This opens up the possibility for lower ranked teams to capture glory, and also win a spot to play with the big boys. League Under the Ink has also started, which will help the community grow at large. Many teams will now find great tournament pressure matches to be played anytime during the week, and have an opportunity to shine in the spotlight as opposed to being knocked out on round 1 of each tournament. There is much to look forward to, but it is the community that must be dedicated to growing the game. If Splatoon is dying, then why is Splatoon League community bi-weekly garnering 40+ team entrants as opposed to the 20-odd teams we've seen in the past? Inkstorm struggled for entrants in their first tournament, with many sponsoring other teams to enter. Inkstorm 3 saw 34 entrants who paid on their own accord. It is unfortunate that Splatoon suffers from no LAN support because an offline tournament would benefit the growth of Splatoon. Meeting people and competing with friends is something unique to offline experiences. This is what Smashers experience in their nationals, and grow bonds that could last a lifetime. But it looks like Endgame once again has us covered in this front. In their direct, they also mentioned planning a LAN-esque tournament. We have all wondered how Nintendo hosted those offline events. With a simple diagram, they released the info needed to pave the way for these events. A link to all the information from Endgame can be found in the description below. Offline presentation was just one argument for those who aren't certain of Splatoon's competitive future. There's also the arguments that Nintendo just hasn't given enough needed features for Splatoon to measure up against all other competitive games. Features like a spectator mode to make viewing tournament matches easier, and a proper lobby system to make matchmaking more accurate and controlled. But going back to Melee, it has none of those features, as it is an aging console game with many limitations, though some believe its charm lies within those limitations. Its player base is the only thing keeping it going. It didn't even have Nintendo's support to stream tournaments, as it was taken down from major nationals and MLG, and it wasn't until the outcry of fans finally reaching Nintendo that they changed their position. Consider Japan and how big Splatoon is there. It is not depending on these features to flourish, it is simply the love for the game and the strong community that they built that gives the foundation needed for Splatoon to be competitive there. Splatoon is a fantastic game, and its multiplayer winning awards wasn't a fluke. Nintendo has given it quite some support, and although we wish Nintendo would provide us with more, it is really up to us whether the game is here to stay. So let's keep it staying fresh.